What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Wars in the Stars, episode number 96. Today, it's going to be a episode number 1 review of Secret Invasion. I'm very excited to talk about this. Yeah, Alex, we talked a little bit off camera, but how are we doing today for the folks out there? How we doing?
I'm doing fine. I've been working a lot recently, so it was nice to have a day off. And so, yeah, I got another day off tomorrow, and then I'm back to 7 hours the next day. So it's a lot, but again, like I told you, it's what I need. It's what I wanted. So
That's great.
yourself?
That's great.
How about yourself, Mr. H?
Mr. H, that's a new one for me. That's a new one. No, I like it though. Yeah, I had work today. I work 3 days a week. Not too bad. Got my first win as a coach yesterday. It was pretty nice. First win actually as a group for those guys. They didn't win any games in the regular season, so it was nice for them too. And it's been a really good experience. My dad's helping out with me, so it's obviously been great. He's been a big part of my journey, and it's been great that he's been helping me out. So yeah, been very exciting. Nice time. I literally just got done watching the episode just now. It's like the first time ever that I've like waited to watch something. Mostly it's just because I shouldn't say I don't care. I care. It's just that it's not the most pressing thing. I'm not going to wake up at, I have to wake up at 6 in the morning. I'm not going to wake up a whole extra hour early to watch this type of stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, without further ado, let's get right into it. Alex, just your overall general thoughts.
You want the general thoughts?
Yeah.
One word. Mid.
Ooh.
Kind of. Mid, kind of.
Mid, kind of. Okay.
Okay. Here, you give your quick thoughts, and then we'll delve deep into parts of the episode before I go on a rambly spiel for you.
I thought the episode was solid. It was good. It's like I won't give my score, but we'll just say it's good. I think it did some really interesting things. I think the end of the episode was pretty interesting choice, I think.
Welcome to the sleepover, Maria Hill. You got some company there.
It's going to be interesting. It's obviously going to be an interesting show because we're always going to be on our toes. I do have a couple of like problems. And I'm sure we'll get into that. But overall, I enjoy Nick Fury as a character, and I think I forgot how much I enjoyed him because he hasn't been in the MCU a lot lately. But overall, I thought it was good. But I want to hear your spiel on this, why you thought it was kind of mid.
So
my thing, to the negatives first, or whatever you want.
My thing, and we said this during the preview, this is a massive event in the comics.
Right.
This feels like a really, really undersold event in this first episode. Now, granted, it is the Foundation episode, so we can't I can't jump in and be like, "What? Where's Iron Man at? Well, he's dead, but where's Doctor Strange at? Why was no one calling Doctor Strange on this yet?" I understand it's the Foundation episode. The world doesn't know about the threat at large, but I feel like, I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like we got I feel like so much, but so little happened in this episode. And it's weird to describe because I feel like this episode showed us how powerful, what's his name, Gravik is.
Grovik? Yeah, I don't even, Gavik. Yeah, Gavik.
Yeah, Gavrik, yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is. I like that they showed how powerful he was straight off the bat. I feel like that's a big Disney Plus show problem, is that they have a tendency to really wait to the last second to show us who we're dealing with.
Right.
And so I was happy that we got right out the bat, and he kills off a main character in the first episode. Now, granted, I don't know. I got this inkling suspicion that she's not dead. But I don't know. You know the MCU. Death is only temporary.
Uh, do you mean that in like the sense that he was a scroll, or what do you think?
That the guy will probably. I would honestly think it would be hilarious if in the final episode it's like Fury versus an imposter scroll of her. Like they take her corpse and
Mm,
that's how they do it. But
interesting.
yeah, it's kind of weird to me. And again, I think maybe this is just from me being a young Avenger fan. It's very obvious that they're setting up the Super Scrolls, which those are just another level of kind of beings. And
Right.
those aren't even Young Avenger tie-ins, but a Young Avenger's mother is killed by a Super Scroll, so maybe that's why I'm having such a weird feeling of them.
But I don't even think they're super scrolls. I literally think they just kind of explained in the episode that they're just disgruntled.
Oh no. What I mean, like what Super Scrolls are, if you don't know, they're so the normal scrolls can just shapeshift. They can retain recent information from people that they shapeshift into, or now we find out that they can straight up take over an entire consciousness.
Right. They have the technology to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but Super Scrolls can take entire powers from people. Like they can adopt entire powers. And so my thing is like maybe that's what this guy is trying to eventually get to, is for him to be able to do that. And then have him take on the powers of whoever,
Well,
whoever major power.
we've already seen that he has the ability to shapeshift faster than anybody we've
Oh
seen,
yeah,
right?
and he does it out in the open too.
Right.
So I that is one of the things I'll give them is again I like that they very much are put out that this guy is a bad cookie. He's a bad cookie. He's gonna make Santa feel a little nauseous when he eats him. But for me, I don't know. I think the MCU, and I don't know if you felt this way. I think what the MCU has struggled with a lot is they really do try to make us overly sympathize with bad guys, like
Right.
disgruntled bad guys.
Right.
Like they try to make us sympathize with Thanos. They try to make us sympathize with Wanda. They try to make us sympathize with these scrolls. They try to make us sympathize with the Flag Smashers. They try to make us sympathize with Loki. They try to make us sympathize with everyone. And I think what these group need, I wish they just were just a bad group of people. Cause like
Right.
then they tell us that like, oh, by the way, they're planning to like frame an entire world war from the US and Russia so that they can take over. But look at all these children that they have for the kids. So it's just like, okay, so
For the children.
am I supposed to be like sympathizing with these people? Oh, they just want a home, but they're gonna murder 8 billion people to do it.
Right.
Like, I wish it was just no. We want a planet. We like the way this one looks. We're gonna take it, and we're gonna be cynical about how we do it too. We're gonna make them go to nuclear warfare.
Right.
Which also very interesting subplot that they kind of want to go down to, especially when sometimes nowadays that feels more likely than not, and than how it used to be in the last few years. So very interesting that you want to do that, especially when our boy Putin, he's a bit I don't know. I don't want to go that route. I don't want to go that route, but I don't know. I struggle with the villains in this series already, even though I like them. Is that weird? Is
No, I
that
get what
weird?
you're saying because they give off major Flag Smasher vibes, right?
That it was another thing I was about to say is this series, if anything, reinforced how bad the Flag Smashers were.
Because the squirrels are just a better version of them.
They are. I feel like what's funny though is that we were told so much through Falcon and the Winter Soldier how bad of people they were. We never saw it though. But then these guys in the first episode bomb a place in, I think they were still in Russia during it.
Yeah, they were in Moscow. They were right
Yeah,
outside of the capital. Yeah, they were
yeah.
right outside of like Unity Day, like literally what the
Yeah.
equivalent of like our like 4th of July and stuff like that.
Yeah. So like straight up like terrorist. The things that in my opinion again the flag smashers should have been. Like if you
Yeah.
can't you can't call the flag smashers a bunch of terrorists and then what's like I remember again we're told all through the Falcon and the Winter Soldier that they're terrorists, and then whenever Carly was like ever serious about like bombing somewhere, but even the flag smashers were like, "Hey, yo, that's too far. We're not terrorists."
When they literally were, yeah.
Yeah, no, these people like this guy. He is a proud terrorist. He's proud
Yeah.
of it. He's happy
Well,
with it.
I don't even know if like you can even like, because it is technically like a extraterrestrial threat. Is it even like classify as terrorism? Or is this like more of like an like how do you even like technically legally like
I don't
classify
know.
this? Because
I
like
don't
you
know.
can't, they're not.
And look, I was thinking about it, okay. It came through. It came through my mind. What if the major ramifications for the show was that in Captain America: Brave New World, we were gonna see Sam trying to hash out a conflict between Russia and the U.S. following the show, because for someone's blaming someone. Because we find out in this first episode that these scrolls they're attacking Argentina, and then Argentina's attacking this place, and then this place attacked this place. So it's like a chain of dominoes, like going like that. Like, could you
Right.
imagine if that's one of the main subplots of Brave New World is Sam trying to fix the world? Be like, no guys, it was these aliens that could shapeshift.
Yeah, I really hope. I don't think that's what it's gonna be,
I
but
hope
like,
I hope it's not, but I was like, what if that's the major ramifications? That the US or that there's just a massive world war going on during the next like 5 years of the MCU.
yeah, I mean, it's to go back to the scrolls, right? They have this new place called New Scrollos. Genius naming, guys. Great job. And they basically have taken over an abandoned nuclear power plant in
Yeah.
Kazakhstan and one of the stands that are around
Mm,
Russia. And then they show the kids, and then literally the guy that is brand new, that is
mm,
brought in. They're like, "Oh, you can't go back to this room," and they're literally torturing. Like they have literally like hundreds and hundreds of people that
yeah.
they literally just have under, like I don't even. They're just unconscious and just there. They're not. They're
Mm,
not sentient. Their body is there. They're just completely unconscious. Have had
mm,
all their memories and stuff transferred into a scroll. And yeah, it's interesting. I kind of like where they're going with the scrolls here, but again, there was this whole story. And again, I really like the spy aspect of this episode. I definitely got a
mm.
lot of Winter Soldier vibes. I think you would
Oh
agree with
yeah.
that. I thought the
Mm,
action was good. I thought it was simplistic storytelling. And I don't need with my comic book stories all the time this extravagant, sciencey, fictiony type stuff. I sometimes like a grounded story that's just a spy thriller where I'm dealing with real characters, right? I don't care about Talos's family. I'm sorry.
mm.
I'm like he had a daughter.
Yeah, that's
I
one of the
literally
things
said
that
that.
like
I'm like he had a daughter. I totally don't remember that.
she was the little girl that played with Monica.
Yeah, she's I
Now,
if I'm
granted, again, this is an MCU as a whole problem. The problem is that they are trying to make you pull memories from a 4-year-old movie and then being like, remember them? Don't you remember? No.
no,
It's
I
also
don't.
from It's not only just from a 4-year-old movie, it's from Captain Marvel. Who
Right,
remembers anything from that movie?
right.
And so yeah, I get what you're going though. I as soon as he said her name like popped back into my head. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Was it Shia or
Gaia.
G- Gaia? Yeah, Gaia. Uh, I'm like he had a daughter. I don't even remember the wife. I kind of vaguely remember the
Yeah.
wife.
Just to think though, in a series in this Marvel series, we got director Krennic, Kira, and Mace Windu, all going against all intertwined. Just think about that for
Interesting.
a sec. Just think about that.
That is
What an
true.
interesting lineup. You got one of the most badass Jedi's a super smart underworld leader, and a very angry old guy in the Empire.
Well, to be fair, I think Krennic was a decent Imperial for an Imperial, like a
Oh
decent.
yeah, oh yeah, he was good. He was good.
But yeah, I mean, like that whole story to me, I'm like, I didn't get enough time. Even like again, obviously, I didn't get enough time with him. I didn't even remember her. So like, I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't care about this conversation. But besides that, the action was really well executed. I thought the fight scenes were good. The build up with the music, and the last half of the literally the last part where the bomb's about to go off, and just the
Mhm.
suspense of like Fury, like his realization that oh shit, we're getting played.
Mhm.
And then the whole theme throughout the episode, I think this would be a good discussion here. The whole theme throughout the episode that Fury has lost a step. What do you think? Because I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so my thing with this is we're sorry. The MCU's got this problem of show, don't tell. They have a lot of tell. We're always told Fury is this guy who's always six steps ahead.
Right.
But to my recollection, when have we ever seen him be 3 steps ahead? I think back to Avengers, he made a hasty call not to bomb New York. In Age of Ultron, he simply got the band back together, even though they were already together. And he was a reinforcement to the Avengers to help against Ultron. And that was it. And what he assembled the Avengers in the previous movies. We've never seen Fury be 6 steps ahead.
The only
We've
time
only
you
been
could
told.
the only time you could make that argument is when uh he makes the weapons
Yeah. From the Tesseract, yeah,
from the Tesseract. That's the only time he could say. Because
yeah,
he
yeah,
literally directly says, he's like, yo, Thor, like your people came to this planet, like I need weapons.
yeah. We need to be able to defend the planet. And
So
what he
like
and
and then
what and hey, just to show Fury was right. Major extraterrestrial beings came, and we didn't have, and Earth didn't have the weaponry to defend itself.
but
So
like this whole thing throughout the episode's like he's lost a step. He's lost a
but
step. And like
but
throughout the episode we're like he's literally hasn't lost he's like he actually is 3 steps ahead of his
yeah,
other
we and
agents.
so again we're being told that Fury's lost the step, but if anything, this episode kind of reinforced he hasn't, because again, he knew that when walking out, he knew he was being watched by the Skrulls. He knew he was going to be taken by the Sonya girl,
Yeah.
and he knew to bug the room that she was in. So again, where's this thing about losing a step?
You
And
haven't
if
been the same since the blip. What does that mean?
yeah, but like what hasn't been the same? Again, now he sees the extraterrestrial threat from Thanos. Now he's on the Saber ship preparing for another extraterrestrial attack. He's ready. He's going to be ready for the next time.
Right.
So you can't really say he's lost his step if he literally from almost every single major extraterrestrial or cosmic threat, he always comes up with a plan for the next time. So I can't really say that it's fair to say he's lost a step. And I mean, dude, I don't know if you felt it, but they kept hammering it in like for the first 30 minutes, like every 3 minutes. It felt like somebody was saying, Fury's lost a step since the blip. Since the blip, he hasn't been the same.
They even have like the squirrel guy who's been like spying who's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's limping. He's only got one good eye. It's like, what?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's old and blind out of one of his eyes. Of course, he's only got one good eye, and of course, he's limping. He's old. And if you just think about in actuality, of course he limps. He just came from fucking space, from artificial gravity. He's not used to actual gravity.
yeah, he
Mind blown.
all in all, like Fury, and again, um, it was good to catch up with him really post like this is like his most screen time since Age of Ultron. To me, he's still a very and Samuel L. Jackson turns in a great performance as always, but he's really a fascinating character. And I think the deeper thing I wanted with him and that I got was his detachment from Earth. We have to remember he's the one who assembled the Earth's mightiest heroes. But again, we go back to this thing where he's like 3 steps ahead. He realizes now I can't just protect Earth. There's already stuff going on Earth. I gotta, be the first line of defense before we get to Earth.
Yeah.
He and in turn he was detached, right? The Avengers are gone. His relationship with Maria Hill, Talos was helping him out on the ground, and we could make the argument that Fury, what was his strength in the first half of the Infinity Saga was his relationship with these characters is now
Yeah.
dampened. It's now gone. He doesn't have those relationships. And I'm glad they hammered on that point a little bit because I think, if anything, if we want to say he hasn't been the same since a blip, it's the fact he hasn't been in communication with any of these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, again, I think for me, I think that they very obviously are trying to set certain things up for us. But again, I've said this about Marvel. I've said this about Star Wars. I've said this about DC. Show, don't tell. You can't tell me Fury's is falling off or he's fallen behind when we're only being shown that he isn't. And so that's kind of my major gripe. But this feels like a recurring MCU, a recurring comic book series and movie problem. Is it's a lot of people being like, oh, something's wrong, ma'am. I don't know what it is. I can't show you it, but something's wrong. And I think this, and even then with this show, it's not even that bad as like some shows like The Flash and all of them are. Some of those shows have it really bad, but this is one of its major problems. You can't and I think the reason why I'm so upset about it is it's very obvious that this is like this thing about Fury being a step behind now is going to be the big pivotal arc for him in the show is about him getting it all back. But it's like, how can he get it back if he never lost it?
Right.
That's like if an athlete says, "Oh man, after my injury that I didn't get, I was never the same."
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You were never injured.
It's so, like it's just like if like a stand-up comedian like broke his leg, it's not going to affect his stand-up.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like all Fury did was go to space. It's like he's not like his spy. Like you just don't lose your ability as a spy. It's not something like you lose. You know what I'm saying?
It's just that's why I think I'm so upset about it. It's just because again they keep hammering it in. It's such a problem. You can't make a problem out of not a problem.
Yeah, I just wish, like I said, they just hammered the point down to like he's just detached, like emotionally, and like his relationships.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been the more interesting story to just been like, man, ever since the blip, like the world's been in utter chaos, so I've lost all my connections to everyone. The Avengers, the group that I spent years assembling, is gone. You know, all these people that I had contact with are like off on their own major thing. Like Tony's dead, Steve is dead, Banner is potentially gonna going through stuff with things with Sakaar and all that with his son and all that. So now he's MIA. Natasha's dead. Hawkeye is basically retired now with Kate Bishop taking over, and Thor is in the cosmic realm somewhere. So.
Well, Steve's not dead, but he's
old. He's one old man.
Do you think he's dead?
Yes, for sure. And the reason why I think that is because Sam always referred to him as gone. So, I mean, if you weren't here for an episode or I weren't here for an episode, I wouldn't assume we would talk about each other in the sense that we're dead. Like, oh, sorry guys, Drew, he's gone. He's gone.
I just think they did that because I think he's going to appear in Captain America 4.
That'd be a really lame cop-out. Either go with that he's dead or go with he's alive. Pick one.
Well, you got to show me that he's dead. Until you show me he's dead,
you know
I don't
what?
believe
Yeah,
it.
True. I guess.
That's how I feel about these types of films.
We just came off of Show Don't Tell, but I guess that's different, though. I guess that's different. But
I want to pivot a little bit from the episode. I want to ask because the first thing I saw when I got on Twitter, and I hadn't seen the episode yet, was
Oh
on my
boy.
lunch break. AI art was used
Yes. But you
as
want
the
to
intro.
but before I talk about that, you want to know what I saw about Twitter on this show? Nothing. No, I saw nobody talking about it.
Well, I saw it. I was like literally two things about AI art, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
okay. My thing is this, okay? Even though this is just AI art, this is one of the major things that the Writers Guild is striking about is the use of AI in movies. And Marvel straight up did a whole, what was it, like 4-minute credits at the beginning of the episode, which by the way, I literally was like, once they got 2 minutes in, I was like, is the episode over?
It was like the longest intro ever.
Yeah, that was dumb. Never do that again, because that made me feel like, oh, so the series' first episode was 6 minutes?
And I didn't even need like somebody to say it was AI art. I knew right away.
Yeah,
It's so painfully obvious.
yeah.
And it's also not good because I honestly like
Yeah.
when I see people who have like drawn
Yeah.
out this shit
No.
and actually
Mhm.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
look. AI just does not belong in movies unless it is like a part of the script of the movie.
Right.
Don't use AI on movies. Not only does it like they paid a studio to do this, so you could have easily just paid an artist to do this. So it proved you had the money to do it. And honestly, most artists would have done it for less than what you paid that company for because they're working on an MCU project. So they probably in the long run would have been able to use that on a resume to make more money. It's also just like, again, this was one of the things that the Writers Guild was harping about was like, Ayo, you're not replacing, like you shouldn't be replacing workers on movies. And so it's just like, again, we're always going to be able to tell if something's AI generated, just because again, AI can't make its own thoughts, its own ideas. It has to be fed something.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, I would have rather had this either be animated by somebody or actually painted by somebody.
Right.
Just feels lazy when it's AI made. It's just lazy.
It is, and it's also scary, right? Because of the
Yeah.
ramifications. Because if they could do an AI on a 4-minute intro, they could say, "What's funny?"
What if this is the lasting ramifications for the MCU? They're going to replace the movies with AI. This is the lasting ramifications that we didn't foresee. The use
Kevin
of
Feige.
AI.
Kevin Feige. They're just
See, he wasn't lying. He wasn't
back
lying.
to a serious point I want to make because this is pivotal because this is about people's jobs. Oh, you can't laugh at that now. You can't laugh at that. You literally want to work in film. This is ridiculous.
Okay. I'm taking it
this
serious.
entails you.
I'm taking it serious. You set yourself up for it. Okay, you set yourself up.
I
for
didn't.
It
I just simply made a point about AI.
When
Okay,
you said
listen.
lasting ramifications, you should have known. You should.
I just worry that if they're going to use AI on a 4-minute intro, what else are they going to use
Yeah.
AI on? If this writer strike continues to go on, what if we get 6, 7, 8 a year in, and they're like, we'll make an AI continues to get better. You know, Chat GTP or what is it? GPT?
I don't know.
The chatbot GPT. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't use it. I don't use it. Don't use it, kids, when you're doing stuff because it's still not that good yet. But
And
what if
it's
it gets
illegal?
and it's don't do it. Your own creative thoughts are more interesting than what that thing has to say, anyways. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's beside the point. If the chat's ability, if the AI's ability to write better continues to increase at the rate that it is, what if we get to a point here where we just have AI like generated scripts? I mean, look at it. Paul McCarthy said he's gonna do an album that is AI generated. I'd like one of the most famous musicians of all time is gonna make an AI album. This doesn't feel right to me because the AI is not. It's not the people. the people's ideas and thoughts are way more interesting to me than the computer being entirely correct about stuff.
Hmm.
So it's concerning for sure, and it's lazy, and I expect better from a studio like Marvel. But also, I just watched an interesting video from a guy who worked on the Flash's VFX,
Yes, I'm almost certain we watched the same TikTok.
and he was discussing the process of how VFX works, how
Hmm.
they'll sell so many shots and they have to get them done, and it's bullshit.
Hmm.
We're just gonna keep getting shitty looking movies until
Yep.
something changes. So
Yeah. It's
yeah,
crazy to me that this studio that is worth anywhere from 28 to 53 billion dollars is hiring AI studios to do work that they could have actual people doing. It's like, listen, I'm of the idea that like there is some practical use for AI, but again,
sure,
what we've only proven is that AI is taking jobs from people and it doesn't work half the time.
right,
And so that's where I'm coming from, like when I say like just don't use AI. Like again, this is what the writer strike is doing, and all it's going to do is it's going to cause not just writers to strike next. So sure, you can have AI write your scripts, but when your scripts are as bad as your CGI half the time, nobody's going to watch,
right,
and you can only use the excuse it's stylistic for so long before people just get tired. So
right. Yeah, it's stylistic. It's how the Flash sees the world. Shut up.
yeah,
Uh,
it's how the Flash sees the world even when he's not present in the screen.
right. Yeah.
Makes sense to
Uh,
me.
makes total sense. To get back to the episode, what else do you want to talk about? I feel like I've been leading this discussion. Is there anything you want to
But no,
touch
that
on?
that's the other thing though. There's like nothing else to talk about.
I mean, yeah, we had like this it's an interesting story. I will say that. Again,
Mm,
just to go and rehash my thoughts. It's a really interesting story. I love the spy element of it. It's always a suspenseful moment. The Agent Ross thing was interesting. I kind of knew it was an Agent Ross. I'm
mm,
like, there's no way they're gonna have Agent Ross in this. It also makes me question:
right.
was that the Agent Ross we saw in Wakanda Forever? I
I
think
think
this
yeah, I think Wakanda Forever and Back, it's actually him, and then this was different.
this was
I
different.
think I think the Ross we all know is actually real is probably still in Wakanda.
Right. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Um, I think this whole scroll thing with them wanting to take over Earth is really interesting, really fascinating. I hope
Mm,
they continue to make him more villainous. I would say. I really don't want to make him like a sympathetic type of
yeah.
group. I think if it would be better if we just actually made them like straight bad guys. I think there is just a thing, and we talked about this with a character like Loki. Loki makes sense as like a mischief character, as a character that it's innate in its powers, but also the fact
Mm,
that like his relationship with Thor, it makes sense for like Loki for us to sympathize with him a little bit and his struggles, right?
yeah.
Uh, what makes Thanos so good again, like one of the most wild things you can do, but it all stems from like past trauma, right?
Yeah.
With like the scrolls and the flag smashers. We understand with the flag smashers with the blip. We understand that point, and we understand with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There was this whole plot with vaccines and stuff. So the flag smashers weren't fully fleshed out, and the flag smashers really had no goal. Right? It was just like
Hmm.
they wanted to send a message because they felt like they were being abandoned post the blip. Uh,
Right.
but with the scrolls, right, we can make them these sympathetic villains, right? Because they have this whole thing of like they haven't had a planet. Talos promised them a planet and it's not working out. But my thing is I just need more development with those characters. We don't have a lot of time with the scrolls. We only
Yeah.
had Captain Marvel, and that wasn't like that wasn't a huge. I mean, it was a big part of the film, but like we spent more time with the Kree than we did with them. So
Yeah.
I just need more fleshed out development with them. But overall, I don't see where the long lasting ramification is going to come from, especially if you don't have an Avengers level character in this film or this series. Excuse me. I just don't
Mhm.
see where that's going to come from, and I'd almost rather this not have long lasting ramifications. I kind of like it the way it is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. What else? What else do you think? There is something I want to bring up after, but
Hmm.
you can go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's too early to say the series is mid or anything. It's literally the first episode. I think this episode, though, it served its purpose. It set the tone very well, and I don't know. I just wish they already went about some things a little differently. Again, more specifically with the villains of the series. Again, I'd rather have just straight up like bad people who again, I think there's a difference though with having just straight up bad people with like semi understandable reasoning,
Right.
but like again, the tonal shifts that this episode went through with establishing the bad guys were just really weird because again, you can't go from being like, "Oh yeah, we're going to fucking start a World War 3, but look at the kids that we're doing it for." Like really weird tonal shifts. Because again, it's given straight up for the children vibes from WandaVision.
Right.
Like gross.
Right. Another thing I wanted to bring up: the director was told not to read the Secret Invasion comic.
But yet the series is still based off the comics. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how
Question
you.
mark. Question
Yeah,
mark. Yeah.
here, Drew. I'm gonna go make a Star Wars movie, but I'm actually not gonna watch any Star Wars beforehand.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going on. Um, wish me luck. I'm gonna. I know there's this guy that looks pretty cool and he breathes kind of weird. There's also this cool yellow robot and his cool
I'm
little
good.
sidekick.
I'm gonna write a sequel, but not gonna watch the prequel. There you go.
Why would you do that?
Why would I do that?
Exactly. I know why. Because you're going to use AI. Because that's the lasting ramification
Ah,
for the
yes.
series.
I'm just gonna write me a sequel to blah 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 blah. Uh,
Mm,
no, I think it's interesting for sure. Obvious. It's like, I mean, I like it being grounded. This story being grounded. I know it was like very upscale story in the comics.
yeah.
It makes me think that he's really saving something like a
Mm,
big level threat with the scrolls. But I'm like, why wouldn't you just do that as its own
yeah.
thing?
And again, I think my problem that I have is when you have these kinds of characters, the question I'm always going to ask, why is nobody calling Doctor Strange? This is an MCU problem. And I'm sure this would be a DCU problem if you know they actually like had a good universe.
Right.
Why don't you just call these high-powered people to come help? Why are you leaving this to the hands of a like 60-year-old guy?
Right.
Oh, hey, Superman, or hey, Doctor Strange, there's these guys in Chernobyl. They need your help. Okay. Bam, send their asses to the mirror dimension, never to be seen again. Now I get it. You can say it's because, well, that would be boring, but it's practical. It's logical.
It's weird that they didn't. Did they give an? I can't. They didn't really give an explanation as to why, like Fury or like anybody, just like I don't know, called like somebody, like not even
No,
Strange, just
someone. Captain
like a mid,
America?
yeah, like a mid tier like Avenger, like not even like I'm talking like even a Bucky Barnes, just like hey,
Someone.
super soldier guy, hello, and then we got a Rhodey cameo, Rhodey.
I honestly, after this episode, I think Rhodey's a scroll. You didn't get that? He felt like he was talking so artificially. Maybe it was AI.
I think it's Don Cheadle is the AI. I just think that it's how like Rhodey's always been because Rhodey. It's such a weird. No. Listen. Because Rhodey has this really weird character thing where like Rhodey will be literally do the thing that the government hates is like fight with the Avengers and stuff and then literally join said government like afterwards. He does it like
Mm,
multiple times. Like the Iron Man, early Iron Man movies, he's literally a part of the government, then wears the suit and is not a
yeah,
part of the government. Then's part of the Avengers for a little bit, then sides with the government with
yeah.
Sokovia Accords, then not, then goes now is back. Now is literally I don't know what he is, but he's right
He's
next to
on
the president. So
he's on all sides. He's on everyone's team.
yeah,
He's gonna he's gonna join the Scrolls next.
I don't know about that. So he's going, but oh, that's what we could do. What do you think is going to happen next episode?
I don't even know. Like more investigation on this on what they're gonna do next. Maybe we're gonna hear something from whoever's in charge of Russia in the MCU, or maybe we're gonna hear something from the president of the MCU.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I think we get a lot more Rhodey in this
Maybe.
episode, hopefully. Because I assume this is going to be a big thing of us trying to like prevent World War III in this show.
Honestly,
Uh,
what if that's the plot of the series?
World War III.
No, preventing World War III.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
It'd be
I'd be down with it.
interesting. It'd be interesting considering the World War III scare we had not too long ago. That's what I'm saying, man. Series is bold. First,
Yeah,
it's AI use, and it's doing what the Falcon and the Winter Soldier never could, and actually is calling back to real world events.
it's
Do
also
it.
like interesting that they like straight up bombed like Moscow in this show. And
Yeah.
that's not a
But
good
I
thing.
also but I also feel like this is a super easy thing to prevent World War III. Like why wouldn't Nick Fury come out and be like, yeah, this wasn't the US that did this. This was a group of Skrulls who are living in a nuclear plant because their species is able to sustain radiation unlike we are. They're in that plant specifically if you wanted to go check for yourselves with like a drone or something.
Right. Well, I think it's also a thing that like
Oh,
Fury wants to stay under the radar, and I don't, which is
send
like,
somebody else or send an encrypted message. You know, like Fulcrum, like what Ahsoka does in Rebels, do
yeah,
it like
send a
that.
message to Rhodey.
Yeah, do something like that. Send something like that. Like honestly, I wouldn't even care if you just ripped Star Wars off and made his call sign Fulcrum.
That'd be funny.
Like I wouldn't care at that point. Just like that's kind of my problem is with a lot of the MCU is a lot of it is summed up to if you just did one thing different, none of this would happen.
Right.
Oh, they bombed Russia and now they're going to blame the US. Why don't you just have somebody from the US or have Fury send an encrypted message to somebody in the US and then have the US send out like a message to Russia or the world and be like, "Oh, this is not what that was."
Right. And then yeah. Well, I think Fury's big thing is he wants to. I shouldn't say he doesn't care about that. He obviously does because he was very worried about it at the beginning of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
When they were talking about it at the dinner table originally. But I think Fury just wants to figure out what the hell's going on with the scrolls itself. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
his main objective. But I think a kind of another big thing would be trying to prevent like an all-out war that the scrolls want. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and the other thing also though would be like again, I don't want like any of this to bleed into Captain America.
right.
So please wrap this up before because I think this is a series I don't see a season 3 or season 2, sorry.
No, seems like a limited. Yeah, it's got to be a limited series type of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Overall, I give this episode like a 7.5. Very solid. I really enjoyed the twist at the end. It was very suspenseful, I thought, at the end. Very good action. Uh, I would say a very good episode, just solid. And if I get If this show is very solid, I'll be like, okay. Better than most Disney Plus shows if it just stays as a 7.5, I think. But again, my question is, why here? Why now? So, yeah, and I would give it a 7.5 for episode 1.
I'll give it a 6.5.
Ooh,
I'm not enthralled.
ooh,
I got to be honest. I will always say, the first episode, like if we're going off a 6-episode series, the first episode, the 5th, and the 6th episodes are always the most important.
right.
This needed to be bigger than what it was. It needed to do more.
Okay.
Also, don't use AI generated things. That docked the point for me.
That's fair. That's 100% fair.
Don't use AI in your series. You're you're billions of dollars amount company. So pay the however million or thousands that you paid to an actual person. Just a thought.
That's 100% fair.
Granted, they probably did the AI because Disney wouldn't want to rush a bunch of artists to like do work in only a few weeks. They would never.
Right.
Just don't ask their VFX teams. They probably wouldn't agree with that sentiment.
I agree. Okay. Let's move in to this big story here. This is kind of a big development we've had. It makes sense though. Reportedly, I believe this coming from the Wrap, if I remember correctly. Marvel Studios will not be at Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con this summer. I want to repeat that. No big announcements at San Diego Comic-Con from Marvel. Now, there's some reasons for this. Obviously, the writer strike is still happening. We hope they get paid. They deserve to get paid. Without the writers, we don't have these great shows, and their work deserves to be recognized. There's also an independent actor strike, I believe, right? Am I correct about this?
I believe so.
There's an independent actor strike. So Hollywood, not in a good spot right now. Pay your people, man. Pay your people.
And see, the big thing though is the reason why I honestly think if I'm the actors, I do it right now. Right now. Because again, if you look at the issues that the Writers Guild has, it's not even just AI is a part of it, but the big part of it is streaming. I don't know if you hey, stop being blurry. Hold on. Okay. To jog your memory, if we go back 10 years or so, Netflix was really the only major streaming service.
Right.
And for a lot of people saw Netflix as this one-off thing. Like the model of streaming only really worked for Netflix at the time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the major thing to get your show on was cable TV.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason why, if you don't remember, 15 years ago, there was another writer strike for similar things, basically, of people wanting to get paid more and whatnot. But this writer strike is different because streaming has taken over as the now new major source of viewing for people.
Right.
Whether you're viewing through Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Max, whatever your Peacock, whatever you're watching on. Now, as I'm sure you know, when a show is played on cable and it is viewed by people, you get something called residuals. Residuals is you receive a fraction of the amount of an episode's worth paid to you per run of it. So if 1 million people watch a show on cable, a writer for the show might make $1,000 if 1 million people write it. And then that's for one episode. And then they might make 400 the next month. It's a very varying thing. That's why writers are never on only one project at a time. They're always on multiple projects to then earn out more. With streaming, you don't get that. There are no residuals. And over the last few years with the writers, what major companies, Disney being one of those major companies, is they're shrinking writers' rooms. So writers used to be a huge team. Yeah. Now we're at some cases we're getting less than double digits. And what they're now doing is now when the writers have fulfilled their job of writing, That's it. Their contract is over and they're no longer needed. So
Mhm.
now what's happening is, let's say if if they need to rewrite or reshoot something, the writers aren't there anymore. So the studio's just kind of fucked, and they have to make these last minute brash decisions, which funnily enough are always the things that fans complain about.
I heard about this. This is what specifically Marvel is known for doing, right?
Marvel is notorious for booting the writers and then panicking when something doesn't work, because then Kevin or a producer or the director has to come up with something on the fly. One of the most notorious things was the Transformers movies. They went into one of the movies, Drew, with 14 pages of the movie written, and then made up the rest. One of the
They
other
only
ones,
had 14 minutes. So one page is like 1 minute. They only had 14 minutes written.
apparently, yeah. And then one
They
of the
went into
other
production
ones,
right after.
and
That's
then
crazy.
one of the other ones was Daniel Craig basically not having a script for James Bond, and he had to just improvise every single line he had to what he thought James Bond would say. And now, you know what? Those movies aren't very well liked. You know why? Because they're bad. They're bad movies because you don't have the writers. That's one of the big things, though, is because these writers are getting probably, if I let me look at how much do writers make on a Marvel movie. They make $32,000 annually on average while working at Marvel. And that's all they make. They don't get brought back unless that people like their work. And so they're barely paying people to write their stuff. And now that these writers are back on, again, their main complaint is not only are you guys having less of us work for you, you guys are making us less work, even less time. And just for a frame of reference, this $32,000 a year roughly comes out to working $15 an hour for a
Right.
40 something billion dollar net worth company.
Right.
Just for a frame of reference, I make $14.25 working at Crocs. So I'm almost making as much as Disney hired writers.
I make 19.33 an hour. I make $4 more, like about $4 more than a head like writers that are
Then
writing the movies that we watch. That's
yeah.
crazy to me. That's insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
And especially
so
when they're working probably 60 hours. They're working
Oh
7 days
yeah,
a week, probably 60 hours.
and you referenced this TikTok about visual effects artists from The Flash.
Right.
That not only spans from the visual effects, that goes to the writers, that likely goes to the producers. It doesn't hit the directors. The directors are always making millions of dollars per movie, but
Right.
these writers are making probably a fifth of what the director makes, or not even a fifth, a tenth of what the director makes.
Right.
And again, these writers on streaming are making even less.
Right.
So just think, $32,000 is what the average Marvel writer makes for a movie, not a series.
Right.
So you
Now,
got like that's what I'm just saying is, like, if I'm these actors, like, if I'm not Robert Downey Jr. or anyone, you're not making good money. You just don't. You don't make the residuals is what made the acting and film industry so lucrative.
right.
It was a thing that even if you were in a bad series, you still made residuals. Even if it wasn't a lot, those after a while, let's say if you only start at one show, yeah, you're not making a lot, but 20 shows, 20 movies in, you're making thousands a month.
Well, if you think about it too, like let's just say, oh, let's use, I don't know, like you're from a Disney Channel or Nickelodeon like type of deal, and they just keep rerunning your episode. That's
Yeah.
more like every time they rerun it, that's money. It's not a lot, but you
Mhm.
just think about it. If you rerun it, you know,
It compounds, yeah, eventually.
yeah,
And
and
not only, like, some of these shows are ran multiple times a day.
right,
Some episodes are run multiple times a day. Like, there are
yeah,
whole ass like movie TV networks, just rerunning the same 20 movies every day.
Right.
You got to think how much money these people are making or were making. Because again, if we pull up the numbers of streaming versus cable, now more times than not, streaming numbers are better than cable numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my thing is that, I still personally have cable. I personally have cable because it's still the best way to watch sports. You're gonna get the most channels, the
Yeah.
most networks, and that's just how it works for me, how it works for my dad. That's
Mm.
just the way it works for us. I really only have I have Netflix, and we have Disney Plus as a family, and that's really all we have for streaming. We
Mm.
have Amazon for football, but uh I don't know if this will ever happen because I think streaming is so dominant and such a big push.
Mm.
But I wonder if post this, even if they do come to a deal, it's not going to be a deal that the writers want. And again, I personally will take the standpoint like I don't. I think the writers need to make substantially more, and I think they need to be more appreciated. But um, I don't know what their value is. I don't know how much it should be. Right? I can't say that it should be more. I agree with that, but I don't know how we get to that point, but I think there could be a very real push. And also the writers on late night television, they're huge too.
Oh yeah, but
Somebody who's a huge
the
comic fan,
same. But we've
eh,
seen many of them have gone.
right? They're gone. They're not doing those. They're huge on those shows, and they need.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're huge on Saturday Night Live. I mean, all those
Yeah.
type of deals. But I think hopefully what will come out of this is obviously them being paid more. But I wonder if writers themselves, actors themselves will start to take maybe more cable television roles, and maybe they
Yeah.
go back to that.
They might have to. The thing is though is like I'm being very very realistic when I say this. This writer strike is very comparable to the debt ceiling like stuff that was just happening in the U.S. Both sides are not going to get what they want, so it's about coming to an agreement of anything. Because the thing is the ball is honestly it's in these bigger corporations like Disney, Paramount, and Warner Brothers
Right,
Discovery. The ball is in their park. They know what the writers have made it very clear. They want paid more. They want AI to be taken out of the production of these movies. In like most circumstances, there are special circumstances. I think this thing in Secret Invasion was a kind of special circumstance. Yes, you could have had an artist, but I guess if you're going to use AI on anything, I guess the credits of a movie isn't the worst place to use them. But again,
right,
I would feel better paying an artist than people, like 4 people who made a random AI bot.
right.
I think that's different, but I think the thing is I think the writers, they're funnily enough, they're asking for too much common sense out of these corporations. They're asking
Right.
for too much common sense. And I think it's really unfortunate because I think they're probably only going to get half of what they ask for.
Yeah. No,
And
absolutely.
it's a thing though that the writers, if anything, they hold the most power here right now. Because if they don't want just half of what they have, they can A, go move to another profession, or B, they can continue to hold out. And these corporations, in these companies, they're going to lose billions of dollars.
Well,
I would rather lose my billions of dollars to paying people what they're worth rather than losing them just because I'm not making anything anymore.
I 100% agree, but I think it's really going to come down to when did the companies decide to cave versus when
Mm,
the strikers do? Because the strikers, we have to remember, they don't have as much in
yeah,
assets as these studios. These studios can wait as long as they want. They can
yeah,
wait as long as, and they could take losses.
yeah.
But if they just keep waiting, they know that those writers, they can't wait a year. They
Mm-hmm.
have to work at some point, right? So like eventually they'll cave. I mean, really, the leverage to me is always in these corporations' field. They can just they can hold these people hostage.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you are right. They may suffer some short-term losses for sure. But if there's no way that these writers can hold out for a year plus, it's just not feasible. Um, but it's been good to see support from
Mm.
people. Some late night comics have obviously been vocal about their support. Have actually paid some of their writers for the time off. I know there have been a lot of Bob Odenkirk, who plays Saul Goodman. I know he was out there striking with them.
Mm.
Bryan Cranston, some other people that I know were out there supporting them. So that's a great thing. Uh, but back to the thing about Hall H. What do you think about Marvel not being there, not doing anything, besides the fact that obviously it's due to these strikes that are
Insane.
happening in our
Insane.
independent? But
I mean,
what else do
again,
you think?
I think it just shows like the MCU is nothing without its writers. Even if we dog on how bad the writing is, can't produce anything without writers. But
Right.
what it shows to me is like, honestly, I'm okay with it. Stop announcing stuff. Stop announcing all this stuff. And again, it's not even stop announcing all this stuff. Stop announcing all this stuff. That's got like a 75% chance of getting canceled. So I think maybe I'd be more okay that instead if they just released like trailers and whatnot, I'd be okay with that instead of like, you don't need like a whole panel for that. In my opinion, at least. It's just going to be people screaming at stuff they don't even know what's going on. Like, come on now. That's what it is. That's all these trailers, like all these halls are. It's just people screaming at, whoa, look at that movie that's gonna get canceled next month. Woo!
Yeah. It's really disappointing to me, but like again, I think also another thing is like Feige says if you're gonna go to Hall H, you have to go all out. Can he go all out is the question. I don't think he has the capability to because of these strikes, but also I think he wanted to announce the Fantastic Forecast. I don't think that's set in stone. I'm pretty sure Margot Robbie is going to be our Sue Storm.
Man,
I'm pretty sure Adam Driver is going to be our Reed Richards.
it's a weird pairing.
You think
Weird
so?
pairing. It's a weird pairing.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. It's a very odd
Really?
pairing. Oh yeah.
Why do you say that's a weird pairing?
That's just not what I imagine my Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm and all them looking like. I don't know.
Are you saying that? I mean, I don't think you're saying that they can't play him. Are you just saying it's
No, no,
not?
no. Yeah, it's just together. No, but it's like separate with other people playing their counterparts. Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to. I gotta see it before I judge it.
You know who I wanted to be Reed was Diego. I wanted Diego to be Reed so bad.
He's such a just odd sleeper. Like, yeah, I feel like he would work. I don't know why, but I
Just
feel like he
as like
would.
a nice, charismatic
Mm-hmm.
Reed Richards. I think it still should have been Krasinski, but
Yeah,
whatever.
but I get their standpoint that he wanted to just do it for the fans in Multiverse of
Yeah,
Madness.
and a lot of people didn't like him as Reed, anyways. So,
Yeah.
which was weird.
Yeah, I don't know how you can say, "Oh, I didn't like his interpretation of Reed Richards," even though we only got like 3 minutes of screen time with him.
Right? Yeah.
And yes, I understand he made a stupid decision, but like, how was he supposed to know? Like, this ain't just any Scarlet Witch. This is the main character Scarlet Witch.
And this is the Scarlet
Yeah.
Witch. The
Yeah, this is like
like
the Scarlet Witch. Like, this is the important Scarlet Witch.
this is her. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like main character, Scarlet Witch. Every other Scarlet Witch was not a main character, so they weren't important.
I would say for me, there's just a bunch of stuff going on right now. This was always going to be the reset year, it appeared, after Phase 4. I don't.
It feels like everything is in a reset period right now, except Star Wars.
Star Wars, man.
Star
Star
Wars
Wars.
is up. Star Wars is up right now. What can I say? What can I
Star Wars.
say? Star Wars. I'm trying to think of Star Wars projects of all the Star Wars releases. When was the last time we had like an actual like bad one? Not like an okay or it was decent, like bad. I don't know. Can you think back?
Rise of Skywalker, right?
Sure, yeah. So what? 4 years of
Yeah,
Mando,
which has been good. Season 3 was okay. Book of Boba was okay.
but as a whole, um,
It's been 4 years since we've had bad.
bad. And I when I mean bad, I mean like unbearable bad.
Like it's
Like,
been like a for Marvel. It's been a.
it's been like what, one project?
Would we
No.
say Quantumania? Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's been one whole project. Because
I gotta
Guardians is
rewatch
good.
it. I gotta rewatch it. I gotta see if it's
Yeah,
really that bad again.
now that it's on Disney Plus, it might be worth a rewatch one of these days.
I mean, I know 22 was bad. We had like 3 bad projects. We had Love and Thunder. We had
And I feel
Miss
like it was.
Marvel
Let me say, I feel like it
and
was
She-Hulk.
3 in a row bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Like,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was really bad.
Love and Thunder was bad. Miss Marvel was good. It wasn't great. It was good. So I wouldn't say it was even that. No, you're sexist. That
I
I'm
like
joking. I'm
Kamala
joking.
Khan, but
And then what was the other one?
She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, and then that was
Can
just
you tell me what
actual.
happened in that show? Because I don't remember.
The Avengers were in it.
I
Wait,
remember
no. What was it?
Daredevil.
Yes, I remember episode 8 had Daredevil, and that was it.
And then I remember the abomination that
But
is Hulk's son.
all I'm saying,
Scar is like the ugliest human being or the ugliest thing ever.
all I'm saying for reference, if you are the worst character in your show, that's not good. Like, just for the record.
Right.
And She-Hulk just somehow managed to nail that to a T. Everybody's better than her. It's crazy how they make a character the main character, yet the most unbearable and unlikable.
Very true.
Do
Very
better.
real.
Do better, Kevin. Do better.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be interesting. I don't mind them not announcing anything because we kind of know the slate the next couple of years.
And the dates will probably change anyways, so who cares?
I don't know. The Disney Plus side of thing for them, I am just not. This is like only 2 things I'm excited from that, like
Yeah,
Loki and then Daredevil, and then so
yeah.
it's like
That's my thing though. Is I'm in a thing right now that Star Wars, in my opinion, has been killing it in the streaming side. They've been a little lackluster in their movies, but Marvel kills it typically in their movies, and has been absolutely dying with streaming.
they haven't figured out the formula. They don't know
They
how to do it yet.
Because what's crazy is I feel like every time we say that I think they got it this time. I think they got it. The next time they absolutely fumble the bag. Like, just to go back, WandaVision, I felt like they were kind of getting it. I feel like WandaVision was really. I feel like the first half of WandaVision was good, and then the last few were better. Besides the finale, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier came back, and I was like, nope, this just didn't work. This should have been a movie instead. And then Loki comes out, and I'm like, it's pretty good. It worked. It worked pretty well. And then what was after Loki? Hawkeye didn't work.
Yeah.
Should have been a movie. Just didn't work as a series.
Right.
And then Moon Knight comes out, and it worked really, really well.
Right.
And then She-Hulk came out.
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel
Works as a series.
I'd say works as a series. I feel like still could have been a movie. Ish, maybe. And then She-Hulk came out, and it didn't work. I don't think it would have worked as a movie either.
I think it just wasn't good.
Yeah, I just needed a better writer's room.
I think in general, I just think Star Wars works better for the small screen. It always has, right? We've
Mm,
discussed this a lot. It always has. And even when like I think Star Wars has had some misses. I think Obi-Wan was a miss. I really truly believe that.
man.
I think it was good. I think it was a mess. Uh,
I think Obi-Wan's another series I need to put on my rewatch list.
Probably the Book of Boba Fett minus the Mando stuff, mess.
Mm,
I really enjoy Andor. I think it's a little bit overhyped by some people, but it's really good. Uh,
mm.
the Mandalorian is great. I
Yeah,
think Star Wars has the formula though, especially
it
with
does.
Dave and John.
But
But
to my thing though, I feel like Star Wars, what Star Wars has always been better at is it always writes its projects, except I think Obi-Wan was the one anomaly. They always write their projects for how they intend to release them.
yes,
Like you can Book of Boba Fett did not feel like it could have been a movie.
very episodic in nature.
Yes.
Very episodic.
Mandalorian could not be a movie. That's why honestly of the three announced movies, I'm kind of the most worried about the Mandalorian movie just because the Mandalorian at its core is a TV series.
Right.
So how they condense 8 episodes into four, basically, or three 45-minute episodes and then mash them together will be interesting.
Right.
Um, Trying to think. Clone Wars obviously would not have
I
worked.
would say Kenobi is the only one that works as a movie because
Yeah,
that's kind of written like a movie. It's
because
not really written
it was yeah,
episodic.
because I mean even the cast and all that came out and have said like it was a movie first and then got changed last minute.
And or
So
very, very episodic.
episodic, yeah.
Arc episodic type deal. Yeah.
Yeah, Rebels I think at some points felt like more movie based, and I only think Rebels only ever felt movie based if it was when they were doing some of their arcs, like the first 2 episodes of season one, the last 3 episodes of season one, the first 2 of season two, last 2 of season two, like stuff like that when it was like Spark of Rebellion or Heroes of Mandalore and stuff like that.
Yeah. When it was like back to back, or like you could even say
Yeah,
that about the Clone Wars, like Umbara.
yeah,
You could mash that together and make that a movie.
absolutely,
Siege
like a
of
short film.
Mandalore, you
Yeah,
could mash together and make a movie, right?
yeah. And so inherently, yes, but overall as a viewer, it feels better in arcs
Right.
because you feel like all right, today I'm going to sit down and watch Umbara, and then I'm going to watch the Zygerian arc, and then I'm going to watch the uh, Padawan arc, and then I'm going to
Right.
watch like you're going to sit down, you're going to watch this today, you're going to watch that today, and then you're going to watch that today. Feels like you're watching an episode of Andor.
Right.
Like it does it like you're sitting down and watching one long thing. But
Yeah.
Marvel, man, I just Loki has felt like the only thing where I feel like you can just sit down and watch it and it feels like it's meant to be episodic.
And not just that, it just has lasting impact, right? It's gonna have lasting impact on the
Who would have
universe.
thought? Yeah. It just
Um,
again also I think what the MCU has a problem of, and we talked about this, I feel like we talk about this every time we talk about the MCU now. Um the placement of these projects feels so confusing
right.
that to me I'm just like you can't ask me to be so hyped up for this show about scrolls when we haven't seen them since WandaVision. Since we haven't seen them since Captain Marvel. Like we haven't seen them in forever.
Right.
So you can't ask me to be excited about them when I haven't been shown them in forever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
and I don't know. Marvel's just in a tricky situation. I'm happy they're not going to be at Hall H this year just because I would rather them focus on actually sticking to the dates they are saying they are rather than being like, here guys, here's 20 new projects. 13 of them I'm probably going to get canceled. The
They still
rest
have 5 movies they haven't announced, so we'll see.
yeah. Like
I
I don't
can
know.
wait.
Yeah. And even then like I know we've been gassing up Star Wars. Star Wars has also fallen into this release day problem also. Like again, Rogue Squadron, Lando, Droid Tales, or Droid Story, The Acolyte, all these projects. Well, now I think The Acolyte and that list is different. We know what's coming out. They're in production right now. We know it's coming out next year, sometime next year. But again, what about Rangers of the New Republic? What about Lando? What about Droid Story? What about
At least say it's canceled. Just don't leave it
yeah,
in the thin air.
and then because you know what inevitably happens is people are gonna ask him, so like what's going on with the Lando project? Oh, it's still in production. You guys have been saying that for the last 8 years though.
Or
It's
don't
still
do
in
the
it's still in production.
or
We're still
don't
in
do the
active talks.
don't do the Kathy thing where you're like, that was rumored. We never announced that when you literally announced it. That's
And you didn't only not announce it, but you also announced it at a shareholders meeting.
right. We never announced that, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. I have the video right here, though. That's Chat GPT. You made that up, didn't you?
It's not real. That's AI.
Yeah. That's funny though, because you know what? How long do you think somebody like Kevin Feige or Kathy Kelly or Kathleen Kennedy or any of them until one of them use that as an excuse?
I wonder
That's
who's gonna be the
AI.
first. Who's gonna be the first real person to do that? It's gonna be like that was AI generated.
The Warner Bros. Discovery CEO or whatever his name is, David Zaslav or whatever.
Yeah.
Him. He will he will certainly be the first one to say that's AI. Did you create
Hmm.
that with AI? No, sir. This is on your guys' official YouTube channel. Is your phone AI? Are you making this up? Is this conversation AI? That's the kind of stuff that this Zaslav guy does. It's crazy. I wonder if Star Wars is going to have a big presence at Comic Con. I
I
assume they
doubt it.
will. I assume
I
they'll have a larger presence than what they've had the last few years.
really.
Yeah, because they got Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Outlaws, Acolyte, something. Don't they have something else too? Am I tripping?
Acolyte, our skeleton crew, acolyte. That's about it that I can think of. Andor season 2 is stop production, I assume, right?
Yeah, and then I don't know. Maybe
Mando
they'll have
4.
maybe they'll have somebody or they'll have some of these people come talk about like their projects that they're working on, like James Mangold or the Ray Project or something like that. Maybe just come talk about it rather than like show anything. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know.
I just listen. I'm sorry if I'm looking at something. I just found
Yeah.
out some like devastating news about the Celtics. We were supposed to get a guy, and it's not happening now. The trade like fell through like literally 6 hours later. So
Damn.
I'm just reacting to that. Sorry. Go ahead and continue.
No, I was just saying though, like I think I don't know. I think Star Wars needs to make their media presence more known.
Yeah, they do a terrible job marketing. We've established. I mean, even though Secret Invasion's like not like
Secret Invasion has been getting the movie marketing. It feels like I feel like I see it every 10 seconds when I'm on TikTok or Twitter or YouTube
the
or
invasion
anything.
has begun.com. I like it. It's got like the Batman feel to it.
Yeah,
Like how we used to go to the websites and have to like solve the
mhm,
riddles to get like the notes and
yeah.
stuff.
I wish what's it called? I wish Star Wars did not say stuff like that, but just like I don't know. I wish
Yeah,
we
no, I think they should do stuff like that.
no, not like stuff like where we have to go online and do like I want. I guess you could do like Yoda riddles.
No, not even that. Like make it themed for like the
But
project.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I'm talking about just give us some more like fun marketing,
yeah.
like for the Mandalorian or something. Like I don't know, like give us something like if it's about Thrawn. Like give us some clues about Thrawn. Sure, even though I just said don't go the Riddler path about it.
Oh, give us
Give
some
it
clues about where Thrawn is.
yeah. Give us some like real life coordinates and then make it mean something. Look no further than Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Their dev team, whenever they do anything, they're a bunch of shitty people who run the game, but they do these fun thing. They do these fun puzzles when they announce like new characters and whatnot. Do stuff like that, and some of them are really in depth. Like people have had to go to like actual locations to solve them. Do stuff like that. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
and then
I
you
totally agree.
yeah, and then you give us like, I don't know, planet, like you do like coordinates and the to cities in the world, and then the first letter of that is us is in an L, and then an O, and then a T, and then an H, then an A, then an L. Bam, we're at Lothal. Something like that. I don't know. I feel like that could be fun. Or just give us some like secret invasion type level stuff where it's just like there's these rumors of this blue guy with red eyes coming for the throne of the empire.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that would be. I don't know. I feel like that'd be fun. Just be. I wish it was just more involved marketing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. But also, I think it also depends. I think Secret Invasion like needed the hype or needed that type of marketing because it's just such a
Yeah.
niche thing. I feel like
But it
it's
also
just
though it worries me though because what if Secret Invasion is a bad show, and this marketing could have been used for Guardians Volume 3, or it could have been used for
Loki
anything
season
else.
2. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
something like that where it's like, wow, how much do you want to bet Loki season 2 has worse marketing than Secret Invasion?
pretty high.
It's always the series that matter most are always the most under like performing ones too.
I'm trying to think. The Mandalorian really didn't get a lot of. The
Dude,
Mandalorian had a trailer. Well, I like what Star Wars does, where they would do the trailer on like Monday Night Football. That's like a big thing that they did.
yeah, and especially because they know like numbers wise, those games probably get millions of views,
Yeah.
and so they know lots of eyes are going to be on them.
It was always so fun around the time of because they would
Yeah.
release the trailer around like Halloween,
Mm.
and then we would watch it. I would watch the Monday night game. Obviously, watch the trailer, then go online see what people are saying about the trailer about the games, and then you get the movie in December. But
Yep.
I'm starting to really miss the as much as I don't love those films. I won't forget the memory of going to see my first like few Star
Yeah.
Wars films in cinema. It's just
Hey,
such.
it's all right, man. We're gonna have to wait just three more years, and we get two of
Uh,
them. Well, likely one of them, but
yeah, well, we'll see. Um,
three more years, man. That's all we gotta wait. That's all we gotta wait. You know what movie we're not gonna be waiting 3 more years though? El Muerto.
Alberto, no more
Look at that
Alberto.
segue. Segue smooth.
I don't even feel like mentioning that. I don't even think there's. I didn't watch the Craven trailer. I heard it was okay. You said it was okay. Some people said it was bad.
The It was a very violent trailer, but
Right.
the CGI blood looked really bad. It literally looked like if they went on like if they had like Microsoft Paint and they
Okay.
painted and they went on that and then they went into like Sony Vegas and like made the like red liquidy, and that's it. It looks
Okay.
really really bad. It does not look like blood at all. Um
So
yeah.
Craven gets bit by a lion.
He gets bit by a lion, but the lion's bleeding, so it drips into his blood. But then it's a special magical lion, so he gets the powers of a lion.
That's how it becomes Craven the Hunter.
Even though in the comics he's more associated with the saber-toothed tiger, not just a lion or a tiger or whatever that thing was in the comic or in the trailer.
Isn't it this though a thing? Isn't he more of like an animal protector? Is that true or no?
Yeah, in the trailer, he's like an animal rights activist.
Oh God.
What if? Oh my God! What if it's Sony making a commentary on animal rights activists saying this is what you guys are like? There you go. Some mental thinking right there. That's
And
for
then I
sure.
saw Aaron Taylor Johnson on Instagram. I saw him say, "Spider-Man, I'm coming for you." Oh my God.
Yeah,
Him and
and
Morbius. Him and
I think
Morbius,
okay,
man.
but the thing is though, is I think probably we're gonna. So this is my thing. Okay, it's very clear Sony is still trying to go down this road because in the Craven trailer we also see Rhino. We also get our first look at. We also get like our first glimpse at Alexi as Rhino, and he's an actual Rhino, by the way. He's not a mech suit. His suit actually turns into like a Rhino skin.
Okay, that's interesting.
So my thing is, it's very obvious Sony is making this Sonyverse anti-hero Sinister Six. Because
Right.
let's see, we got Venom, we have Rhino, we have Craven, we have Morbius, we have Vulture. So we need one more. We can't say Carnage because Carnage is dead. So who would you have in this last Sonyverse Sinister Six? Oh no, Chameleon. Oh yeah, Chameleon is Craven's brother
It
in this.
yes.
He's his half brother in the comics, but he's his full brother in the movie.
Venom, Morbius,
Venom,
Craven.
Morbius, Craven, Chameleon, Vulture, and Rhino. Although
Yeah.
I think Rhino might be the antagonist of this movie. I don't
And
know,
then they team up. Oh, post credit scene. Post credit scene. Here we go.
but
Vulture and Morbius.
yes,
I just can't like because the thing that they try to do with these characters is they try to make them. I saw Morbius. Have you seen Morbius? Yeah, I saw
hell
Morbius.
no, I've not seen
I
Morbius.
just laughed. It was so funny. I just was laughing that whole film. It was so funny.
Mhm.
They literally played like the Batman music as he goes in and he gets bitten by the bats. It's so
Disgusting.
funny. It's so funny. Um, I my thing is like you stop making anti-hero, anti-villain type just make them
Yeah.
bad. They're
So
bad people.
the thing is though, is like I think the Craven movie kind of like from the trailer, I think it's already kind of put into perspective how they are going to turn into Spider-Man villains. But the problem is, who, what Spider-Man villain are they going to be for? A new Spider-Man? Andrew Garfield? Toby? Tom? Maybe Miles Morales? Maybe somebody else? Who
I
knows?
would like it at this point if it was just Andrew.
But the problem is what connection do they have? The thing is,
None.
though, is my thing is these villains now, these anti-heroes, they all still do have a connection to Spider-Man, apart from just being comics. Like Craven's big connection for him that we're obviously going to see is that so in the trailer they show off he can connect to animals. Think like Ezra Bridger connecting to animals, but he can't connect to spiders. Who's a spider-themed hero? Spider-Man. Rhino or no Venom, and I think honestly, I would almost guarantee. What if this is the Spider-Man 4 lineup, and this movie ends with them being transported to the 616 universe
Again.
again?
I could just see Venom being like,
Oh, we're
oh
back! We're back! But then think like Venom's the symbiote is already in the universe, so Venom
right.
has a connection. Vulture, obviously from this universe. What's it called? And
What is
you can
Morbius's connection though?
he came with Vulture, so he hates Spider-Man 2 for some reason.
That post credit scene's still so bad. Oh my god.
But
It
no,
still
if you
makes
think
no sense.
if you think about it though, fundamentally, they all still are they're still connected to Tom Holland Spider-Man though, specifically. They're tied to
Right.
him. Because
Right.
again, you could easily make the story that the Senate like Vulture's coming back because he's mad at Spider-Man because of his daughter, even though that in the MCU timeline would have happened almost 9 years previously, but who cares?
Right.
And then Morbius agreed to team with him, so Morbius is a part of him. And you could say that, his, maybe Adrian, if they get transported back, he tries to go find his daughter, but his daughter still hates him because of what happened all those years ago back in Homecoming.
Right.
So that could easily set the group of why he, as the leader of the Sinister Six, hates Spider-Man because he
Right.
ruined the relationship with his daughter, even though it was his fault.
Yes.
And then Morbius is just a dick sucker and is just helping him because I don't know. Morbius has to be there. Okay, he's there for some reason.
Right.
Venom, you could easily make it that Venom attached to Spider-Man, or we find out that he's attached to Tom Holland, and
We also
something
the
like
the
that.
running theory about the symbiote hive mind being multiversal because he
Yeah.
recognizes him. He's
Mhm.
like that guy and
Yeah.
looks at the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he could hate him because of what Venom from the Toby universes went through.
Right.
Trying
Which
to
I think
think.
is probably the answer
Yeah,
because we kind of know that Venom 3 is going to be like a multiversal thing. So
more multiverse. You could.
I also like the Venom movie. Like those are the only ones I like because they're just stupid and they
Yeah,
lean
they're
into it. They
dumb.
don't.
Yeah, they don't try to be. They don't try to be an Infinity War.
No.
They try to be Venom. You could make it Craven. His big thing is he can't connect to the one animal he can't connect to Spider-Man or spiders, and he wants to take his frustration out on the Spider-Man because the reason he can't connect to spiders is because the spiders are linked to each other through their through the spider sense.
Hmm.
Who else is left? Rhino. I mean, he's just an angry Russian guy. So
Sure,
honestly,
rich guy. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know the connection there.
that I mean, honestly, they never have been really connected. In my
Rhino has
opinion.
always really
He's
confused me.
he's always just a Russian guy who is a rhino somehow.
Yeah.
And then who was the last one?
I don't remember who we said. Oh, we was gonna say Scorpion from
Oh no. Chameleon. He's brothers
Okay.
with Craven, so
Would you go? Well, my thing is, I really think Spider-Man 4 should be Scorpion, but we've kind of passed
yeah.
that story. I feel like at this point now. I think
I
maybe.
also feel like it should be Scorpion. Maybe Scorpion is the leader of the Sinister Six. Like he sends them off to go do his
Yeah.
tasks. So
Yeah.
it's the Sinister Seven, but it's 6 people doing it, and then Scorpion is like the final boss.
But I really think that Spider-Man 4 is gonna have Kingpin, and
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
we'll see. Yeah, I like the idea of the Sinister Six. It's just my thing is like they gotta be like like I just
Yeah,
can't see like Tom Hardy's Venom going up against.
yeah. The problem is No Way Home was the place to do the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
You could, and the way you literally
Well,
could
you
have
did,
easily,
but it was like
but though the easiest way you could have done it: 2 villains from Toby, 2 villains from Andrew, and 2 villains from Tom. Then you make an easy 1v2 for each of them. You make them intertwine, so you could
we
have
only had
had
5, right? We only had
yeah.
5, and
We only had Doc Ock, Electro, Sandman, Green Goblin, and Lizard.
and
if
then
you,
it
none
was
of
really
them,
3
yeah.
against 4 because Doc Ock like halfway
Doc
through the
Ock
movie was like,
changed, and then Sandman wasn't even really trying to fight them. He kind of just somehow got grouped into fighting them. Lizard
daughter.
didn't. Yeah, Lizard didn't want to fight them. Lizard just tried to escape and then just randomly came back to fight with them. So it was really just Goblin versus everyone, or versus the 4 people. The other people were just mad at them for some reason.
Right.
So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it was just like Green Goblin was a
It was
menace.
it was the Sinister Five, but it was really the Sinister One. It was him.
The Sinister.
Yeah, Mr. Sinister. There we go. Even though that's already a person, but who cares?
Whatever.
Who cares?
Alrighty. Well, I'm good.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week to discuss Secret Invasion episode 2, or maybe not. It might be too boring. Who knows? We'll be back. No, trust me, we'll be back. As always, thank you for watching. It was a great show. As always, thank you to Alex. Fantastic as always. Great co-host, the best.
I flipped the camera off. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to go like this, and I flipped the camera off and said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's an out of pocket day." Okay.
My friend that I used to do my podcast with up at school, he would always go, "Hello, I am your host," and then he would say his name, and I'm here with my co-host. I'm not gonna do that. We're co-host here, okay? We share roles equally here. We don't do a whole lot. Alex will whip up a thumbnail. I'll just do the show notes really quick.
I make the out of pocket stuff for this show. Thumbnail was completely done by me.
I just craft up some show notes and then we do it. So we're equal. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching. May the force be with you, and may you stay burdened with glorious purpose. And make sure your friends are not a scroll tonight. Okay. Peace out, everyone.
That'd be good.
And don't get Maria Hilt. Okay.